it's October the 6th today, 2017, and the hot summer days are in the past now. And I just thought I'd show you how the greenhouse is faring as things are cooling down. I don't know if you can tell, but from my last video, it's a little quieter in here than it usually is, and that's because the swamp cooler back there, the blower, isn't blowing right now. And the thermostat is still set where it should be. And that's kind of indicative that the weather is cooling down. So, now let's see what happens here with some of these things. Let me show you around. Now, the tomatoes, as you can see, they're doing well. It hasn't frozen in here, but I wanted to show you these. So you can see we've got a lot of tomatoes here, and there's a lot of them right here, some here. These are going to have, it'll take a little more time to ripen. See, here's a little tiny one right there that I don't know if we'll have enough time before the first frost, but you can see there's some of the clusters of tomatoes there, and there's a red one. I probably ought to pick that one back there, and there's more down there. Now there's only 4 plants here, I think, and I've trimmed them. Now, interesting, you can see right there, see how those leaves are brown on the top when they're touching the top. We've had frost here at night, and I think what that is actual contact with that surface as it got frozen. So, but anyway, during the day it's a lot better in here. Now, you can see what the temperature is. The thermometer says it's about 78, something like that. So let's go around here and look at some of the other things. Now, this is a pepper that I planted way too late, but we may get enough time to harvest that. And again, for a review, this is a floating raft system, and this water is coming out of the fish pond, and it's going successively from one grow bed to the next all the way down to the end. And it does work quite well. This is some lettuce that I planted out here, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and you can see it's doing well. And this is fennel, and I planted that to see how it would do, and we don't know what to do with it because we're not fennel eaters, I guess. There must be something nice, but as you can see, it grows well. And this here is the broccoli, and I've been harvesting this, and this is Sun King broccoli, as I've told you before, and it's doing quite well. As you can see, we're growing new broccoli heads here, and I don't know how much more time we'll have with this. But over here, I want to show you, there's some more of the Sun King broccoli here, but this is our cabbage, and the cabbage has done really well. You see some of this is heading up. There we go. Now that's a small head of cabbage, and there's another one there. But what's happened here is, as you can see, the bugs that we had at the beginning are gone, and that's thanks to the yellow jackets. But the cabbage has done well. It's not as big as I'd like. There's a nice little head back there. But I noticed when we took one in the other day and chopped it up and ate it, I'm not a big cabbage eater myself, but it has a cauliflower-like flavor to it. I thought it was quite good. There's another one there. Anyway, so this is all doing fine. Now remember, this is a floating raft system, and this is my asparagus patch. Now, next year, we'll probably get some asparagus off of this. There's 2 planters of this in it, and this is some beets I planted a few weeks ago, and carrots in here, and then let's see, this is a tomato plant that actually it should be going up this string, but for some reason it failed. I'll have to tie that up later to see how much longer we have on it. Now, looking over here, here's some more lettuce that I planted here. I don't remember exactly when, but it wasn't long ago. Now these were seedlings that I pulled out of another system where they were, just being grown, and I just dropped them in here. And you see they're quite good. I think that's red sail lettuce, and there's several of them. Even this one in here that I wasn't sure was going to make it, as you can see, that is practically underwater, but it's surviving. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, this is doing okay. And here's some okra that I put in here that was you know, this is floating raft okra. And I planted it way too late. But as you can see, it is growing. And there are fruits forming. And I don't think it's getting hot enough in here for the okra. So in a greenhouse environment, you know, where you really don't want to let it get very hot, okra is probably not a really good thing unless you have a greenhouse for hot things. Then it'd probably do well. And these are some tomatoes that I just stuck in here, you know, because I clipped them off of something earlier in the year, but you can see the roots under there. This has done really well. Now this particular tank, I've rigged it for fill and drain, and right now it has drained, but you can see there are roots down there, how well they're doing. And again, it's cold here, and I haven't been tending these, but you can see the tomato plants grew really well. Oh, there's a tomato right here that this got too tall, and it broke off a couple of days ago, so I'm just letting it hang there until I can harvest it till it gets ripe. Now, celery, the remains of the celery. This has done quite well. I've given a lot of this away, but you can see there's a lot to go, so I've got to pull that out. And the beans, now I've been pulling the beans out, and I think I planted these too early, and what's happened is, you know, they started coming up nicely, and then as the summer heat came, you know, the summer heat is pretty intense in this greenhouse. It's difficult to keep it below 90 degrees when the sun is on it, but as the weather cooled off, this part survived. And as you can see, oh, there's some beans right here. I've been harvesting beans off of these little by little. See, there's another little one right there. Yeah, oops, dropped that one. But anyway, this is good. Oh, there's a nice small one right there. But these were pole beans that I didn't bother with a pole, and they worked. They grew in the aquaponics environment. It's just that I think it was just too hot in here for them, because like I say, it's cooling off now, and most of these beans are spent because they've gone through their life. And these are hanging on, but it's too late for them, because, you know, they do have a definite lifespan. And there's some leeks here. Yeah, that one grew with the celery, so I let it go. But as you can see, there's some more celery. These leeks seem to like it here, and I'm not sure what to do with leeks, but they grew quite well, so I think I may harvest one and bring it in. Now, the grapes, of course, did extremely well. There aren't any more grapes on this one. Well, there's a one in there you can see. But we have been eating grapes off of this one all summer long, till about 3 weeks ago, and kind of got done. Now this one here is a different kind of grapes. These are all purple. And I'm not too fond of these because there's seeds in them, and we don't like to eat grapes that are full of seeds. Now, on this side, my strawberries that I saved from seed, as you can see there's a lot of strawberries right there. They're coming. We've picked off a few of these as we go. But as the weather cools off, there's enough of them that they're producing strawberries, so they're doing quite well. There's just some leftover stuff here, and this is the Japanese giant strawberries that I was so worried about earlier that they were not going to make it, but as you can see, they have made it. They're a little more delicate than those over there, but hopefully next year we'll get a lot of strawberries off of these. And there's some radishes that I've planted. Now, here's the fish pond. What happens to a fish pond in the wintertime? Now, as you can see, the temperature, well, I won't show it to you, but the temperature of the fish water here has gotten to be about 59 degrees now, 60 degrees, something like that. And the fish have disappeared, but there's about a dozen or so fish in here. And I know they're in there, I know they're healthy, but what they do is when it gets cold, they kind of hide on the bottom and just sit there. They don't come up and get the food anymore, but I'm pretty sure they're there. They're goldfish. So, and the other thing you can see is we've got lots of algae. If you can see the color, the algae is really starting to bloom up a little bit now, but not terrible, but it is blooming. Anyway, bottom line is this is an aquaponic setup, and there's the fish pond, and it feeds all of these, well, those two, that row right there, and it feeds this row back here of those tanks, and it works quite well. So next year I'm going to start to try to grow lettuce in all of these and sequence it, see if I can start producing lettuce. And one thing I'm going to need to do is I need more cooling power than that. I may need another one or maybe two more, because that one by itself cannot keep it cool enough in here in the summer to grow lettuce. Well, anyway, that's an update here for what's happening in the greenhouse garden. Like I say, it's October now and things are cooling down, and things are growing better. But it's just that it's too late to plant anything now. So what I got to do, the lessons I have learned is the aquaponics works very, very well. You've got to let it balance out. The fish and the plants and so forth, you've got to let it balance out. And once it does balance out, it pretty well regulates itself. I have had no Pythium attacks in here at all. You know, sometimes the water in the summer got to the high 70s, but no Pythium attacks at all. And I used to get them all the time. As you can see, the tomatoes here are doing great. These did well. And, well, anyway, all the plants along there do well. So, next year, it'll be lettuce production, and see if I can sell any of this stuff. So, stay tuned, and I'll show you some other stuff that I'm doing during the summer, so go back and review some of the video that I haven't posted. And maybe we can learn some things together, and if there's something you know that I obviously don't know, hey, please chime in, because I'm learning too, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are a lot smarter than I am and have more experience at this. So, anyway, I hope this works for you. I hope you liked it. I hope it was useful.